In this video, I'm going to be going through some of the best cases that Spigen has to offer, in my opinion, for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. We're going to go through each case, we're going to see how they fit, how they feel, how strong the MagSafe magnet is, and which ones I would recommend. So let's get into it. So the first Spigen case we have here is the Ultra Hybrid S case. And here is the case. It's a pretty simple, clear case. It's got half of a MagSafe ring, and it also has a metal kickstand on the bottom of the case. First, let's see how much this case weighs. 63.1 grams. It also has a couple pieces of plastic you want to remove on the top, and it doesn't seem like there's one on the inside. So it has a hard plastic backing surrounded by a softer rubbery type material. So we'll put our phone inside the case. Fits the phone.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay, fits the phone pretty good. Feels good in the hand. It does have a slight bit of grip to it. Buttons on the side are nice and clicky, very easily pressable. If we take a look at the case from the side, you can see that it only has a very slight raised edge around the front of the phone. So if you do use a tempered glass screen protector, you might actually lose all of that edge, and then you'll lose all the protection you have on the front of the screen, which is definitely not good. You can see that it doesn't add a lot of extra bulk to the phone. The majority of the bulk is on the bottom here. I'm assuming because they wanted the kickstand to be flush in the case. We've got some airbags in the corners here to help with drop protection. Lanyard hole on the side here. Cutouts on the bottom. On the other side, we've got our metal power button. And for the camera button, it's not a cutout and it's not a button. It's like they kind of decided to make this piece here very thin. We'll see how well that works in just a minute. On the back here, we have half a MagSafe ring. It is clear, so you can see the color of your phone. And as far as fingerprints goes, it does seem to do a pretty good job at keeping down the fingerprints. We do have some slight smudges on the back, though. You should be able to pretty much wipe those away with minimal effort. We've got our metal kickstand here, which is pretty solid feeling. And the really cool thing about this that I haven't seen on any other case is it actually rotates. Now, I've seen other rotating kickstands that kind of come out of the back, but as for the little kickstand here, I haven't seen any rotate like this, which seems to be pretty cool. So you can have your phone in a portrait mode, maybe. Let's see how well that works again. Yeah, well, yeah, so you can do a portrait mode. You just gotta be careful with it, and then you can also, of course, lay it down in a landscape mode. And if you rotate it, on the back here, you have some more adjustments to angle it more towards your face, and then it just kind of folds right back into the case nice and flush, which I like. We also do have a slight raised edge around our camera lenses for some protection there too. They're being very stingy with their protective raised edges for some reason. I'm not sure why they opted to do that. But I'm really curious to see how well this camera button works. But we'll just see that in just a minute. Let's test out our MagSafe. Got our MagSafe charger here. Well, it clips onto the back, charges your phone immediately. And as far as the hold, it actually has a pretty strong hold on the back of the phone. So you definitely don't have to worry about the phone falling off your MagSafe accessory. Yeah, that's a pretty strong hold. I really like that. So let's test out our camera button here. So you can double press that to access the camera. It just kind of presses in like a thin piece of plastic, and we'll see how the touch goes. Not too bad. Double tap. Yeah, that works. I'm pretty impressed. So it's, like I said, it's not a button. It's just a very thin piece of plastic that they opted to use there, and it looks like it's got like a little, I don't know, like a little frosted piece on it, but it seems to work perfectly fine. I'm pretty impressed. So not too bad. I like this case. I like the anodized buttons. I like the kickstand on the back. It's got a nice strong magnetic hold, and the camera piece here seems to work really well. The only thing that I don't like about this case is the small raised edge around the front of the phone and the camera. that's about it. If you can get past that, this seems to be a pretty nice clear case. And then here we have the Spigen Tough Armor T case. And here is the case. Let's see how much it weighs. 58.1 grams. This seems to be like a two-piece design case. It's got a hard plastic outer shell surrounded by a kind of like a firm rubbery type material. We also do have some foam on the inside to help with drop protection. We've got MagSafe built in. It also has a full coverage camera protector on the back, and we've got a little piece of plastic here for a kickstand. It's pretty flimsy. So let's put our phone inside the case. Feels pretty good in the hand. The only thing is it feels kind of slick, which I don't care for, because that just means it's more likely that the phone will slide out of your hand. The buttons on the side here are clicky, easily pressable, but they kind of blend in with the side of the case, so it might be a little hard to find, especially if you're trying to silence your phone in your pocket or something like that. I like the buttons to kind of protrude off the case just a little bit so you can easily feel them. But the action button is kind of serrated on the side. You can also see that this case has a very slight raised edge, again, just like the clear case. It's got some extra protection in the corners. There are your volume buttons and the serrated action button. Got our cutouts on the bottom. Got our power button on the side, and we actually have a camera button and not just a cutout. On the back here, it's got a nice soft feel, which should keep down the fingerprints. Again, we've got this kickstand here that's just like really flimsy piece of plastic, and you're only going to be able to use your phone in a landscape mode. But we do have the full coverage piece on the back here that protects the rest of your camera from scratches, and we only have a very slight raised edge around the camera lens there. So again, like I said, this has MagSafe. Let's test that out. Charges your phone immediately, and as far as the hold, it's got a pretty good hold on the back of the case as well. You don't have to worry about the phone just falling off your MagSafe accessory. It's not the strongest I felt, but I think it's adequate for holding your phone on your MagSafe accessory. So let's test out the camera button on the side here. You access your camera easily, and as far as the touch, seems to work better if you use the tip of your finger and not just like the whole thing. But it does seem to work. So not too bad. So not a horrible case. I do like the fact that it covers the inner portion of your camera between the lenses. I don't care for the kickstand. The buttons on the side, again, they're flush with the case, so they're going to be a little bit harder to find if you're not actually looking at the case. And the camera button seems to be working okay. I would also really like to see more of a raised edge on the front of the phone. For me, I would say pass on this case. And here we have the Spigen Silicone Fit case. So here is the case. It is a nice kind of soft feeling silicone case. Let's see how much it weighs. 40.1 grams. On the inside, it does have like a microfiber to keep your phone from getting all scratched up. It's got metal accented buttons, and it's got a cutout for your camera. There's no actual button. Put our phone in the case. Fits the phone pretty good. It feels good in the hand, but again, this case feels like on the verge of being slick. I do like that soft touch feel, but when you're trying to hold onto your phone, it's not a good thing. As far as the buttons are nice and clicky, easily pressable. If we take a look at the case from the side, again, same small raised edge around the front of the phone, but it doesn't add a lot of extra bulk to the phone either. We've got those metal accented buttons on the side, cutouts on the bottom, power button, and you've got the cutout for your camera button on the back. It's all the nice soft touch silicone, and we only have a slight raised edge around our camera lenses. So let's see how the MagSafe hold is. Charges your phone immediately. And it's got a pretty good hold on the back of your phone. You don't have to worry about the phone just falling off. It's on there pretty good. So that's definitely a plus. So as far as the camera button goes, of course, you kind of have to press your finger inside the little cutout here, and the touch is going to work fine because you're actually touching that button. But it is nice and smooth, so your finger just kind of glides in this little cutout here. So it's not all bad. So this is a nice soft touch silicone case. I like the buttons, very nice and premium. The cutout isn't horrible. MagSafe is it is pretty strong on the back. Again, the only thing I don't like about this case is the way that it feels kind of slick, and again, the slight raised edge around the front of the phone. I think because of the slickness of the case, I would say pass on this one as well. And here we have the Spigen Ultra Hybrid case. And here is the case. It's got a pretty cool accented orange MagSafe ring on the back. This weighs 40.8 grams. This also does have a sticker on the back you can remove. And this case has a matte frosted back. So it shows off the color of your phone and it keeps down those fingerprints, which is nice. Put our phone inside the case. So it feels pretty good in the hand. It feels like a smooth type of rubber. It's not grippy. As far as the buttons on the side, buttons are nice and clicky, easily pressable. I don't understand what it is with Spigen this year and this raised edge. It's so small. I don't know why they couldn't just put up just a little bit more to give your front screen a little more protection. But it does keep your phone pretty slim. We've got our volume buttons and our power button on the side. Cutouts on the bottom, power button, and an actual camera button on the side here. We also do have a lanyard hole on the back. Again, shows off the color of your phone, keeps down those fingerprints. We've got the accented MagSafe ring here, which is a full MagSafe ring. And we also do have more protection on the back for the middle part of your camera. And we only have a very slight raised edge around the camera lenses. So let's test out our MagSafe. Clips onto the back, charges your phone immediately, and as far as the hold, it's got a pretty good strong hold on your phone. You definitely don't have to worry about it falling off. That's one good thing about Spigen this year is they do have nice strong magnets. So that is definitely a huge plus. I really do like that. And as far as the camera button on the side, it does have a little bit of a dip in here to kind of help you find that button, which I appreciate. Double press that to open up your camera. And as far as the touch, seems to be working pretty good as well. I can't really complain about that either. So definitely not a bad case. There's a lot of good things going for this case. Again, the only thing that I really would like to see a little different is the raised edge on the front of the phone. I would like a little bit more protection for my screen, and I'm sure you all would too, but everything else about this case is pretty nice. Then here we have the Spigen Thin Fit, and here is the case. See how much this weighs. 37.5 grams. Not super thin. It's almost as heavy as some of the other cases. It does have a kind of a flexible back, but it's a little bit rigid. It's got like a matte finish to keep down those fingerprints. And on the side, it's got a nice rubbery edge. This does also have MagSafe built in. Fits the phone pretty good. Feels nice in the hand. It's got a slight bit of grip to it because of the grip or the back and the rubber edge here. So it helps with grip, which is nice. Buttons, nice and clicky, easily pressable. If we take a look at the edge here, again, same slight raised edge around the front of the phone. It does help keep the phone nice and slim though. We've got our power, our volume buttons and our action button on the side, cutouts on the bottom, power button, and we also do have what looks to be a camera button. It might not actually be a button. It might just be that same slim piece of plastic, but we'll test that out in just a minute. On the back, again, it's got like a nice matte feel to it, so it keeps down those fingerprints. It also does have a full coverage camera cover on the back, which I like. And again, the raised edge around the camera lenses is just ever so slight. Let's test out our MagSafe. Clips onto the back, charges your phone immediately. And as far as the hold, it's got a pretty good strong hold on the back as well. And because of that matte on the back, the phone doesn't slide on the MagSafe super easy. It feels more stuck in place. So if that's what you like, this might be a good case for you. But if you typically rotate your screen easily, this is not going to be that case. But it does have a pretty good strong hold on the back. Now let's test out the camera button here. So you double press that, no issues. And as far as the touch working really good. Yeah, it's working really nice here. No problems whatsoever. So for this kind of, I don't know if that's a button or just a cutout piece. Not a cutout, but like a slim plasticky piece. But whatever it is, it seems to work really well. Some of the best that I've seen on any case. So again, another really nice case. Got a nice strong magnetic hold. Camera button works flawlessly. Again, the only thing I would like to see a little different is more of a raised edge around the front of the screen, but definitely not a bad case. And here we have the Spigen Nano Pop case. And here is the case, and let's see how much it weighs first. 45.1 grams. Now, if you've seen any of my other reviews that I've ever done on any of the other Spigen Nano Pop cases, you'll know why I like this case. And it's the only thing that I've seen on the Nano Pop Spigen do. I wish they would do this more on every case because it would make the case feel so much better in hand. This case actually has these little micro textures on the side, and surprisingly, it really does help with grip. You don't have to make them, super aggressive. Just little texturing helps with grip tremendously. But this is a kind of flexible type case. It does have MagSafe built in. Let's put our phone in the case. Case feels good in the hand. Those micro textures doing their job, giving the phone some perfect grip. And it, again, like I said, it's not aggressive. It's just a whole bunch of little micro textures that feels really good. If you've never felt the Nano Pop in hand, I definitely would recommend it. As far as the buttons, nice and clicky, easily pressable. If we look at the phone from the side, again, same slight raised edge around the front of the phone. Doesn't add a lot of extra bulk, which I like. Got the accented kind of shimmering buttons on the side, cutouts on the bottom. We've got our power button, and which seems to be that same little thin piece of plastic on the side for the camera button. Not really a cutout, but not really a button. But it should work pretty good based on what we've seen. On the back, it's got a nice matte finish. Keeps down those fingerprints, and we do also have a full coverage camera insert here with only those slight raised edges around our camera lens. So let's see how good the MagSafe ring is. Charges your phone immediately. And as far as the hold, got a nice strong hold on the back, so you don't have to worry about your phone coming off. Really like that. This one does rotate a little bit, but again, it's got kind of like that grip on the back, so it doesn't rotate super easy. But I do like the hold on the back for the MagSafe. Now, as far as the little camera button here, double press that, you can access your camera. And as far as the touch working great. Look at how responsive that is. It's incredible. Like, it works just as good as you touching the button. I don't know how they did it, but it works really well. So another really nice case. I do like the inclusion of the full insert to protect your camera lenses. The back has a nice feel to it. The little texturing on the side helps give the phone some really nice grip. I like the buttons. The MagSafe on the back is nice and strong. Again, the only thing is, I would like to see more of a raised edge around the front of the phone, but other than that, this is a really nice case. And here we have the Spigen Rugged Armor case. And here we have the case. Let's see how much it weighs. 48 grams. This is one of my more favorite simple Spigen cases. I like the subtle kind of rubbery texturing on the back. Keeps down fingerprints. It's also scratch resistant. We've got a carbon fiber looking inlay on the back as well. Full coverage inlay for the camera protector. This is also a pretty flimsy case. It's got MagSafe built in, and it's also got some foam pads on the side to help with drop protection. Fits the phone really well, feels great in the hand. It does have some slight texturing on the side to help with grip. As far as the buttons goes, they're clicky, easily pressable. If we look at it from the side, you can see that this particular case has more of a raised edge on the front of the phone, on the bottom and the top. Not so much in the middle, but more on the top and the bottom. I don't know why they didn't do this for every one of the Spigen cases. It just really doesn't make sense. But you can see the texturing on the side here. You can see it also keeps the phone pretty slim. We've got our volume and action button on the side, cutouts on the bottom. We have that same little camera piece on the side here, our power button, lanyard hole, along with the texturing. On the back, again, it's got that nice kind of subtle texturing on the back with the carbon fiber looking inlay. Full coverage for the camera. And this also does have a more of a raised edge to protect your camera lenses as well. Again, why they didn't put this on every case, I really don't know. Let's test out the MagSafe on the back. Clips onto your phone, charges immediately, and as far as the hold, again, it's got a pretty nice hold on the back of the phone, so you don't have to worry about it just falling off. And this also does have a slight grippiness when you try to rotate your phone as well. But the MagSafe hold is pretty good. It might not be as strong as some of the other cases, but it's almost there. Definitely good enough to hold your phone on your MagSafe accessory. So now let's test out the camera button. Opens your phone, no problem. As far as touch working great again. Again, I don't know how they did that, but they really got that dialed in. Works really well. So definitely not a bad case. There is one thing that I really kind of wish was a little different on this phone is the buttons on the side. They don't come off the case enough. I would like to see them come off a little bit more to make it a little bit easier to find, but everything else about this case is pretty nice. Camera button, flawless. I like the full coverage camera protector on the back. I also like the subtle texturing on the back of the case. Feels great in the hand. It also has more of a raised edge for front and rear camera protection. So really not a lot of bad to say about this case. Again, like I mentioned before, this is one of my more favorite Spigen cases. And here we have the Spigen Ultra Hybrid T. And here is the case. See how much it weighs. 40.6 grams. I do have a little plastic piece here to kind of peel off. Looks like a pretty nice case. It does have a hard plastic backing surrounded by a firmer rubbery type material, and it also has an accented camera button, which is pretty nice looking. Put our phone in the case. Fits the phone really well. It does have a nice grip to it. Feels really good in the hand. Buttons on the side are nice and clicky, easily pressable, but the one thing about this case is the buttons are pretty much flush with the case, so it might be a little harder to try to find those if you're not looking at the phone. If we take a look at it from the side, you can see that it's got that ever so slight raised edge on the front of the phone. It doesn't add a lot of extra bulk to the phone either. We've got these slight airbags in the corners for drop protection. We have like a serrated action button, our volume buttons, cutouts on the bottom, power button on the side with the accented camera button. On the back, it's got that accented piece where your wireless charging would go. We have a full coverage camera protector, but the ring around the cameras doesn't come up very much. So let's test out our MagSafe. Clips onto the back very nicely, charges the phone immediately, and it's got a super strong hold on the back. Like, this is probably one of the strongest MagSafe Spigen holds that I've felt. So you definitely don't have to worry about your phone coming off your MagSafe accessory. It's on there really good. Very nice. Let's test out our camera button. Very clicky, opens the camera without issue, and as far as touch seems to be working. It doesn't seem to work as good as the other one without the button, but if you use the tip of your finger, it seems to work a little bit better rather than just kind of sliding your whole finger. It's the tip of your finger that seems to work the best. So it does work pretty good. Again, just use the tip of your finger. So not a bad case. I love the strength of the MagSafe hold on the back, the inclusion of the full coverage camera protector. Camera button works pretty good. Again, if you use the tip of your finger. The only thing I don't care about for this case are the buttons on the side. I would like to see them protrude out from the case a little bit more, and more of a raised edge around the front of the phone. And here we have the Spigen Enzo Aramid T case. So this is supposed to be one of Spigen's more premium feeling and looking cases. It's got the Aramid fiber on the back, metal buttons on the side, and the metal camera ring around the back too. Let's see how much this weighs. 50.8 grams. So it looks pretty nice. Let's see how good it feels in the hand. It does have a solid, firm backing surrounded by a softer, firmer, rubbery type material. Let's put our phone inside the case. So it feels pretty good in the hand. It does have a little bit of a grip to it on the side, which is nice. As far as the buttons are nice and clicky, very easily pressable, and they come off the case just enough so you can easily find them with your finger. If we look at it from the side, it looks like it's got a slightly more of a raised edge than some of the other Spigen cases, which I particularly like. It also doesn't add a lot of extra bulk to the phone. You can see those cool accented metal buttons on the side, cutouts on the bottom. We've got that same metal power button on the side. We actually do have a camera button, which is pretty flush with the case, so it's going to be a little harder to find. But on the back, we've got that Aramid fiber. It is scratch resistant, keeps down fingerprints. We've got this little metal accented piece right here. We've got the metal ring around our camera lenses, and it also seems to come up ever so slightly more for some more camera protection there too. Nice case. Let's check out the MagSafe. Clips onto the back, charges your phone immediately, and as far as the hold, holy cow, it's got a nice strong hold on the back. So you definitely don't have to worry about your phone just coming off your MagSafe accessory. It's on there really good. This has, again, some of the strongest magnetic hold on the Spigen cases that I have felt so far. So that is definitely a plus. Now let's check out the camera button. So again, it's kind of hard to find on the side because it's flush, but it does open your camera without issue. As far as touch seems to be working pretty good. And camera button's working perfectly fine. So I think they really did this case good this year. Very nice. Because I think typically this case feels kind of slippery, but it does feel a little bit more grippy for this go around, which is definitely a plus. So again, it's got a super strong magnetic hold on the back. I love the metal accents around the phone. It makes it and looks more premium along with the Aramid fiber. Camera button works perfectly. It seems to have a slightly more of a raised edge than some of the other cases. I definitely like this case and I would recommend it. So now that I've had a chance to test out all these Spigen cases, I'm going to let you know which ones I liked and which ones I didn't. So first off, the ones that I didn't like are down here at the bottom. The Ultra Hybrid T, the Silicone Fit, and the Tough Armor T. Each one of these cases had something about them that would keep me from purchasing them again and recommending them to you. The Tough Armor T, I really didn't, again, like the buttons on the side because they're pretty much flush with the case. And this little plastic kickstand here is kind of worthless. It does the job, but it's just a super cheap piece of plastic. And I don't really care for the two-piece design because sometimes the two pieces come apart. The silicone case feels too slick. I don't really like that. And again, the Ultra Hybrid T has the buttons just like the Tough Armor T did, where they're pretty much flush with the case. And again, I don't really care for that either. And then for the cases that I absolutely loved, the Enzo Aramid T case I think was probably one of the best, more premium looking cases. It had everything going for it all the way around. The Nano Pop feels great in the hand. It's got those little micro texturings on the side. The Rugged Armor case feels great in the hand again, and it's the only case that has more of a raised edge for your rear camera and the front of your phone. The Ultra Hybrid S is also a really nice clear case. It's got a nice strong magnetic hold on the back, and it also has the 360-degree rotating metal kickstand on the bottom. The Thin Fit is pretty thin. It's got a full coverage camera protector, super strong magnetic hold on the back. Camera button works flawlessly. And the Ultra Hybrid looks awesome on the phone. It's got a nice frosted backing to keep down those fingerprints. Nice strong magnetic hold. Full coverage camera protection on the back, and the camera button works great on that as well. So now that you know which one of these cases were my favorite, I want to know which one was yours. Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys want to pick up any of these cases yourself, I will be putting product links in the video description. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know by hitting the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.